Hi Stampers! Welcome to Coffee and a Card, my free class. I'm Vicki Sewell, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You can follow me on Facebook at StampinChat30 or email me at StampinChat30@gmail.com. My March host code is 6ANZCK3E. You can use my handy Shop Now button at the top of this page, and for every $35 of Stampin' Up! Products before tax and shipping that you order from me, and be sure to enter this code as you check out, you'll get a chance in a prize drawing that I'll have at the end of March for a Darling Donkey stamp set. So if you miss getting that cute set during celebration, you'll get another opportunity. You must enter this host code as you're checking out, though, to be eligible. Also, I'll be ordering new annual catalogs at the end of this March, and all customers who have placed an order with me in the last year will receive a free 2021 annual catalog in the mail about the end of April or beginning of May. If you haven't placed any orders, but you would still like to get a catalog, you can go to the Shop Now button to order one, or contact me at StampinChat30@gmail.com. and I'll have one shipped to your home for $5. Today I'm going to show you some cute Easter cards. I'll be highlighting the Arrange a Wreath Bundle, Springtime Joy, and the Gift of Hope stamp sets. Let me show you some examples first, and then I'll construct a card with you. I really like the Arrange a Wreath bundle. Here it is in the catalog, and you can see that it can be used year-round. There's the nice wreath stamp. This is the stamp set, but if you order the bundle, it also comes with some lovely dies, and these dies can cut out things like the sunflowers, the hearts, the Easter eggs. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great year-round set. There's a set, the partridge for the Christmas, and there's also hearts. The dies cut out 2 at a time. The little pears for the partridge in the pear tree, and then Easter, flowers for summer, leaves for fall. It's just a great year-round set. So I really liked this idea. You'll see in a minute I liked where they used the wood grain background, so I cased that in one of my cards. I'll show you that in a minute. It also looks lovely with this brick. All the pictures I've seen of this set with the brick embossing folder, those are really nice also. I've used this set at Valentine's, and you've seen this card before. This little snail did not come in the Arrange a Wreath bundle, but that's the fun thing about this bundle. You can use other stamp sets with it to create fun things. I did want you to see this little ribbon here. That's a die that comes in the bundle, and it's really pretty and easy to use. The little hearts are also in the bundle. You stamp those hearts, run it through your die cutting machine, and you're good to go. This is a traditional card made with that set. It uses I used a gorgeous grape card base. This is the Hydrangea Hill DSP that's in the mini catalog right now on page 19. This is the tricolor ribbon that's in the annual catalog on page 161. And you can see I just cut out the layers, the wreath layers. There's 3 here, I believe. Well, there's actually 2 layers here. And then for this layer, I just cut it apart. And instead of placing it on top of the card, I cut the leaves apart and just tucked them in where I thought they would look nice. These are the Easter eggs that come in that set. You just stamp those Easter eggs and cut them out. It's a really easy and fun set to use. In addition to those traditional items that come in the Arrange a Wreath bundle, I thought it would be fun to combine it with these two stamp sets. They're in the mini catalog on page 22. You can get a good idea of how you might could use, this one is Gift of Hope, and here's the Springtime Joy. They made a wall hanging out of it, but you could easily make a card out of it. There's just a lot of fun things you can do with these Easter sets. I used the Gift of Hope to make this card. Stampin' Up! Has foil papers that come out. Last year they came out with the Royal Peacock foil papers, and so I had some of that left from last year, and I decided I wanted to use that on this card. I used the In Good Taste designer paper that has all the wood grains in it. It's on page 148 of the annual catalog. This lighter green is Pear Pizzazz, and the darker green is Mossy Meadow. And then I combined it with the foil paper. Isn't that fun? You can see a little bit of glitter there on the leaves. And I also used the layering ovals here. So it's a really pretty card. On the inside, I used the other stamp, little lint there. I used the other stamp that's in that Gift of Hope to complete the inside and colored this lovely arbor here. The next card I made with the Springtime Joy set, and these are the paper, foil papers that are right now in the mini catalog. They're on the page with a lot of the Valentine stamps. So you might have only thought of it for Valentine's Day, but I thought it would be fun to try it at Easter. This is the Rokuko Rose. The foil paper is Love You Always Foils, and that's the solid. And in the background, you'll see the Love You Always DSP, and that's on page 11. And at the bottom, you can also see that foil paper. I hope you can see a little of the sparkle there. Before I cut it through the die cutting machine, it's really pretty. And there's that cute little lamb. I colored it with the gray here. I think I've posted a video on how to color the little lamb, add a little accent here. And then I just added some rhinestones on her little crown. So that made a really pretty card. This is the card that I'm going to make with you today. I saw this little bunny. I can't, let me see if I can find her name. I think it was, I want to say it was Carol Smith. Anyway, I saw her little bunny colored like this, and I just fell in love with that little bunny colored like that. So today I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, these are the same foil papers that are in the mini catalog. And they suggest with those foil papers that you use Blushing Bride. But today, for the cardstock, I used Petal Pink because I just love the way Petal Pink looks with crumb cake. This is a square vellum doily. And that's an easy way to add an extra layer to your cards. It's on page 153 of the annual catalog. I used some Petal Pink ribbon, but if you don't have Petal Pink ribbon, here's a little trick that you can use. You can buy this white metallic ribbon. It's on page 161 of the annual catalog with all the ribbons. And all you have to do is take one of your stamping blends and color it with one of your stamping blends. It'll dry quickly because these are alcohol markers. And then, so you might, but you still might want to do it a little before you put it on your card. But then you can have ribbon that matches any of your cardstocks just by coloring it yourself. That's a handy thing. So let's get started on this card today. I'm going to use my die cutting machine. I got this die cutting machine before, when I first decided I wanted to make card making my hobby, and I didn't know anything about Stampin' Up, unfortunately. So I did buy this. It's still good. I'm still using it. I hope to buy the new machine probably next month. I'm excited about the new machine. It folds up, so it's a lot smaller. In your stamp sets, you'll find the dies. So I'll get those out. It has this die, which I've already gone ahead and cut just to save a little time. So I've got that piece already cut. But I thought I'd show you how the cutting machine works in case you've never seen one used before. You have cutting plates. Whoop. You have cutting plates. And the best trick I've seen, I did want to share this trick with you. There's a lot of videos out there on how to rotate your cutting plates and things like that, because they will bend a little bit. They will curve a little bit along this edge here. But the best tip I found came from Meg Daves, and she always uses one cutting plate on the bottom. And then she has one marked just for the top. And so that's what I did. That's why you see these stickers. Now, I have made a few mistakes. You can see some cutting lines on that. I've made a few mistakes occasionally. But for the most part, I try this technique. And if you press on the center and it gives any, then you need to turn this one over. But you can make about 15 to 20 cuts on this before you have to turn it over. And that's the best tip I found to keep your cutting plates smooth and level. Another tip, you'll see some colors there. Another tip is to take a lint roller and occasionally just roll across. I'm not sure that I can get into all those grooves, but you'll see from my lint roller that I've picked a lot of lint off of my cutting plates. And so that helps clean your cutting plates if you just use a lint roller on them. All right, let's get busy cutting this. So we're going to lay it on top of that cutting plate. And now I can't find the dies that I was just going to use. Isn't that always the way? Oh, here they are. All right, so here's the leaf die. There's a cutting edge that imprints it with a, kind of embosses it. And so you want to turn that over and put it down on your paper like that. You see this center section? I'm always a big believer in keeping some handy little dies around. Today I'm going to use the Easter egg dies. Sometimes if it's a green foil paper, I'll put leaves there. But I'm always an advocate of using all your paper. We'll move that down just a little bit. I'll put the top plate down, and then I'll just kind of push it through and get it started. And just run it through the machine like that. All right, then you just take off the plates. And here's my little Easter eggs. I'll put them over to the side. Save them for later. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. And then you're just going to work around the edges to finish pulling that out. And it'll just pop right out like that. And then I'll work on the center to get it to pop out. If you have a take your pick brush tool, you could also use that. This is a pretty big die. It's not very complicated. So I can just do that with my hands. I'll take a minute just to stop and show you one more trick that I do. I have this handy little container from Bed Bath & Beyond. I love it because it will hold these embellishments perfectly, and I have some containers that just hold embellishments. But another thing that I do, and you can see from the green foil that I used, I cut out some green leaves. I just keep little bags of all these spare little die cuts, like the Easter eggs will go in one of these bags. Here's some hearts I've cut out, dragonfly, just odds and ends. And when I'm ready to make a card and I want to just need something a little bit small, or even if I want to make another arrange a wreath card, I can just go to that little basket and find some. So here's another little trick. I don't even want to waste this paper on the edge. So I have the everyday punch pack, and I just go punch a heart from that edge and punch a heart from that edge. I'll put it in the little bag later and use it on a card someday. It'll be all ready to go. So that saves you a little bit of time and definitely helps you use all your paper. Now, when I cut this out, I did not finish getting all the little pieces out. When you look at the back side, sometimes all the little pieces don't come out. So there's one right there. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool. Remember, this one has two sides, and you just turn it like that when you're ready to change it out. So here's the, pokey tool is what we call it, the official name of it, the take your pick tool. And I'm just looking for those little places, and I can see it on the back side better. I'm just looking for those little places that might not have quite come out when I punched it there. I think I've got them all. I don't see any others. So we've got those punched out. Really simple and easy to do. So we have those two pieces ready to go. Let's talk about that cute little bunny. I stamped the bunny with soft suede ink on crumb cake. And I want to show you how to color it and how to shade it to give it that nice weathered look maybe. I'm using soft suede, the light soft suede blender. And I'm going to use the pencil in, since it's kind of fine what we want to do. And I'm just going to go around here and give it some shading like this. Then I'm going to stop. Notice I just did a little bit. I'm going to stop and go back with my blender pen, and I'm just going to go around the edge there. This is a blender pen. I just want to soften up the edges of that line. So while it makes it really ugly for a few minutes, more than what we wanted to do, it's an alcohol marker, and it will dry, and it'll soften the edges of that color and kind of pull that color out. So, and you just want to work in small sections because you don't want it, you want to catch it before the ink dries. It'll blend a whole lot easier if you do that. So I'm just adding some, coming back with my blender pen, blending out those edges. Just takes a few minutes to do that. I'm going to add a little right under his paws here. Soften it up. We'll come down here, wrong end. These do have two ends to them. There's a pen end and there's a brush end. Just going to add a little along those lines. I'll come back in and blend this out. It's a great way to get those, keep those harsh lines, give it a soft look. And last, I'm going to do the ears just a little bit. You can see where I first started, it's beginning to dry a little bit. It won't take it long to dry. All right, now we're ready. I'm going to come back with light Rokuko Rose to color the flowers, and these are really tiny, so I like that pen end to color tiny things. I tried the petal pink on this, but the petal pink didn't show up well on the crumb cake like it would have on the white. So I decided to try the Rokuko Rose. And then I'm just going to highlight a little of the center with the darker Rokuko Rose. I'm going to color the leaves in light apple green, granny apple green. And then I'm going to come back with just a little bit of dark and just highlight the center of that leaf gently, just a touch. There we go. All right, now for the fun part. We're going to use a watercolor pencil, a white watercolor pencil, and color the bunny white. This was what I just loved about this bunny. I loved it when it was colored white. Stampin' Up! Does have white. They have a whole set of watercolor pencils. There's two sets actually. I don't have the set with the white in it. I need to get that one. We always have a wish list, don't we? I do. So I had to use one from another set. We're just going to color that and give it that white look. Here on his ears. I just love that look. All right. So our bunny's all set to go. I'm going to use the Post-it punch on the bunny. So I'm going to get him centered, level up, and kind of centered. Remember, you just want to kind of squeeze gently to catch the paper and then check to see if it's where you want, and then punch him out. If you don't have this punch, you can always just cut a square with your trimmer. You can use one of your rectangle dies. So there's other ways to do it if you don't have that punch. All right, another thing that I used on this are the square vellum doilies. You can see right here they're vellum. They're very thin. They may be hard to see, but I wanted to add. It's just an easy way to add another layer to your card. So I used those. We're going to start to build the card now. Okay. And I think I'll probably go ahead and add my ribbon first at the bottom. Remember, there's two ways you can add ribbon. You can use tear and tape. If it's a thick ribbon or wide, you can use tear and tape. If it's a thinner ribbon, you can just add some seal there. Let's see if I can get this started. There we go. All right. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 6 squares up. That's one of the nice things about this paper. It can help you get your ribbon even. So I'm going to start it right about there. Go across to the back. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there we go. Pretty even. So I love using the grid paper to help me make things even. Let's double check on the front. Yep, looks good. All right. Now the trick about the vellum, this is not really wide enough to show on the edges of the wreath. So what I did was I cut the vellum in half. This is a trick you can use on a lot of times to get things wider. The cut is not going to show once we put the bunny on there. Now on vellum, of course, whatever adhesive you use is going to show. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to a few places in the center. I think those places will be covered up by the wreath. So I'm just going to stick to the places that I think will be covered up by the wreath and put those down. So I'm going to put this on the left side where it will show nicely. And remember, our hole in the middle is going to be covered up by our little bunny, so that's fine. Nobody will see, nobody will know that trick that we used. So a little bit of glue on this side, and we'll put that over there about the same. All right, now we're ready to add the wreath layers. Just little bits of glue along the way. Wherever you see a spot big enough to put a little bit of glue. Don't really need it on the outside. You kind of want those leaves to pop up and give a little extra dimension to it. We'll just add that. Kind of center it the best we can. Press it down, and we're ready for this layer. One thing I liked about this little bunny over here, you see how his paws are? You can, there's a basket in that stamp set, and you can make him look like he's holding a basket. I'll try to show you that before I finish this video. All right, so we got those layers down. I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of the bunny. I think I'll use some of the mini dimensionals since he's a little bit smaller. We'll just put those right there. I don't like my shapes to sag in the middle, so I always put a few in the middle. Peel that paper off. And we'll just kind of center him in the middle there. Now that little cut that we made in that doily doesn't show at all. Very easily we've added an extra layer to our card. If you like layers, that's a way to add a layer. I have a little bow tied, and I will attach that with a little glue dot. Right here on the side. Like that. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the greeting. I'm going to use Happy Easter from the Joy stamp set, and I'm going to use soft suede ink. The original card I used a Versamark, and then I embossed it with some clear, but it is very, very light. It's still very light, so I thought this time we'd try this. Just stamp Happy Easter in the corner here. These clear stamps are nice. You can see right through to get them even. The photopolymer stamps. There we go. Happy Easter. Right, now we're ready to add it to the card base. Sticking a little bit where I put the ribbon on. Already. Sometimes with the seal you have to get it started a little bit. There you have it. Beautiful Easter card. If you try this, I hope you'll share it on Stampin' Chat 30 on Facebook. I'd love to see what you create. There's one other card I made. I had some leftover pieces, and so I made one other card. It's similar, but might be easier, especially if you don't have the Arrange a Wreath stamp set. I just used the Post-it punch and punched out some of that beautiful foil paper. This is again the square vellum doily, but I didn't cut it in half this time. I just used it as an extra layer. It's the same little bunny. The Arrange a Wreath has a sign on it. That stamp set has a sign, and it has Happy Easter. So I just stamped Happy Easter on the little sign, the little wooden sign. You could also make the bunny hold the little sign if you wanted to work that out. He could be holding the sign that says Happy Easter. There's just so many things you can do with this stamp set. It's a lot of fun to play with, and I hope that you'll get creative and share your ideas with us. I was going to show you how he could hold the... Real quickly, I'll show you how you can make the bunny hold the basket. Kind of like I've cut that out. Here's one where I was playing with him holding the basket. What you do is you get, there's super sticky Post-it notes, and that doesn't mean that will stick hard or tear up your paper. What it means is that they're sticky all over the back of the Post-it note. So you can stamp the basket first, and you stamp the basket on the Post-it note and cut out the basket. Then you just lay this over the basket that you've already stamped, and you come back and stamp the bunny on top of that. That's called masking if you've never tried it before. But it's a lot of fun, and that way you can make the bunny hold the basket. So I'll be creating a few Easter cards with those soon. It's just fun to play. I hope you get some of these sets and play with them and share your ideas. This week, if you like and share my video, I'll put your name in a drawing for a card kit to make this card. Be sure to comment that you've shared below this video. Otherwise, I have no way of knowing who has shared. All of the products I've used are available from my online store. All you have to do is click on the Shop Now link above. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be yours. Thank you for joining me for Coffee and a Card today. Be sure to ink it up and send a blessing to someone today. Bye. Bye, Dottie.